Hello everyone, this is James Shore with another test-driven development video. Today is December 21st, and I'm picking up after about a week and a half since my last recording. And in the last recording, and what I've been doing lately, is trying to get persistence working. Specifically, I've got a save as dialog, and I want that to actually do something. Right now, if I click save, nothing happens. So I've been sort of slowly working my way towards that. And I think it's time for me to just do it. So the issue I have is I have the ability to test that when the save button is clicked in that dialog, that the save method in the application model is called. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make the application model object instance responsible for actually doing the save. And I'm just trying to wire the save as dialog to that. So I have the ability to test that by spying on it with my mock model. But I don't have the ability to actually push the save button. Now, I don't really need to push the save button, but I do need it to I do need to test the code that makes that happen. So right now, I mean, the actual code I'm trying to test here, it's actually much easier to write the code than it is to test it. And that's pretty common when you're going into new territory with TDD. But do TDD long enough and you end up with this huge bag of tricks. That's why I say TDD is one of those things that takes moments to learn and a lifetime to master. So we've got what we can do here to save it is just as simple as telling the model to save. I mean, that is really all it's going to take. I don't think we have a save method yet, but that's it. Oh, and we're going to want to pass in the dialog dot get file name. File. And we're also going to want to say, so the real code, maybe it'll be useful to do this. So the real code will look like this. File name equals dialog.getFile. Then we'll say if file name is not null, then save. That's the code. That is the actual honest goodness code. So, and maybe we'll make that a file object. So the trick is testing that. So we need to test that we're getting the file out and that if it's null, if it's not null, we're calling the save method with the correct file. And if it is null, that we're not. So how do we want to do that? I think first off, we're going to need to get access to the actual dialog. So let's pull that out. Again, I'm just still fumbling my way through this, trying to figure out how I want it to work. It's going to take a little bit of doing to get there. So why is that final? I don't think that needs to be final. All right. So this, I think, can come out. And that can be part of the components. So when we add the components, we can do that. Yeah, let's see if that still passes. No, it doesn't work because it broke another of our tests, which right. This just is code that's not ready yet. But it broke another of our tests, which says that we're only supposed to have one window. I think that's all we broke. Yeah. So we can, because that dialog is a window. That's interesting. We can take this out now. Because we're just creating it. Okay, well, let's see what happens now. Okay, so we successfully factored that out. And let's just double check that assumption because I don't have full confidence in those tests. Well, oops, looks like it's working. Okay, so now what? Well, first, is this a better test? Maybe. Let's leave it commented for now. So we've got save as dialog being created along with the other components. Since we've done that, now we can factor out the code that gets that dialog. Just here, we pull it out from the guts of swing. What I'm sort of creeping my way towards is having access to the save as dialog so I can poke at it. So I can simulate pushing the save button because I don't want to actually go through and push it using UI stuff. I'm just going to count on the save as dialog working properly. Okay, so now that we're doing this, I don't think this is so important. I like the way this is simplifying this test. Okay. So now I can, something that simulates pushing the save button is I can say save as dialog dot set I'm going to wait for swing for a moment. Set file, yes, I can do that. I can set it to example/path name. And then I can do something that pushes the button and then assert true that that happens. And we'll get to this piece in a moment. Okay, we're getting closer to this. Oh, yeah, it's not save as called with, it's save called with. And that should be assert equals. And that should fail. Application model should be told to save expected example path name, but was null. That's good. Now I just need to push the button. And I think this part, so I'm trying to minimize the stuff that isn't tested. I really want to make sure that this code is tested. Particularly, I want to make sure that this is tested because that's the wiring between the save as dialog and my code. And I want to make sure that this is tested because that's a bit of logic. And I want to make sure that this is tested. So that's all good. So what I can do here is I can make a public method that does this, and then, or maybe a package protected method that does this. It would be a bit ugly, but that would allow me to poke in at it. Yeah, I could do something like this. Or maybe just this. That's not amazing, but it does work, presumably. Another option would be for me to actually poke at the save as dialog in my assert eventually true. But like by doing a deliver event. But I don't think I want to do that. Let's see what we've got in here. And another option would be for me to use something like window licker, which would be okay. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with that. That's the best option I see at the moment. So I have to make sure we pass in our mock. And then we will call frame.doSave. And then we'll assert that the application model should be told to save. So we'll end on a cliffhanger. I think that's all the time I have. I actually didn't set my timer, so I'm making a guess here. So I think next time we'll run that test and see what happens. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.